I'm going to talk a little about leading and managing in international and Asian perspective. My background, I've been professor in United States, in Thailand, Hong Kong, in Shanghai. I'm a visiting professor in South Africa, so I am as international as you can get. And I used to live in Ho Chi Minh for maybe 3 years. So I'm going to talk about, this presentation was about roles of the principal, but I know some of you are higher education. You can think dean, or you can think the principal, or the kind of administrator of the unit. You know, that's what I'll be talking about. So in almost any administrative position, you have 4 roles. What word do you use in Viet for role? The role. Okay. And so we have administrator. So in your role, you have one role as administrator. Administrator means to make the system work. You have to know the rules and regulations, and you make those work at your university, at your school, at your department. Okay, that's administrative role. But you also have another role, which you can call manager. Your management role, you manage the budget. You manage the facility, the school, like the example I just gave you, right? You manage information. So that is your management role. Notice you don't have only one role. You are not only administrator, you must also manage. Okay. Third role, you are going to think this is a little bit funny, politician. Although in Vietnam, I know, you actually have a role, a political role, which is very different, for example, from the United States, and very different from Thailand. Thailand, there's political role, but not in the same way as Vietnam. Because Vietnam, if you're the principal or the dean, you report 1 to the Ministry of Education and 2 to the party, the Communist Party. Right? So that reporting to the Communist Party is a political role. But your political role is not only about that, because your political role is about representing the community, your school to the community. So if you're a principal and you go out into your community, you are the representative of the school. And we call that a political role because it's about developing relationship and support. Right? You also, in your political role, you also are negotiator. Tiếng Việt. Okay. You negotiate. What do you negotiate? You negotiating price? Well, sometimes, but more you negotiate interest. The interest of the students, the interest of the teacher, not the same. Interest of parents, interest of teachers, not always the same. So you are in the middle and you negotiate. The parents want this, the students want this, the teachers want this, the system wants something else, and you have to negotiate. So that's part of your political role. Now, these 3 roles, whether anybody tells you those are your roles, they are. You know, when you arrive in your job, nobody says, here are your 3 roles, right? You could be a principal or a dean for 5 years and never think about your roles. You just know what you have to do. Okay. But these three roles are ones that administrators in schools in Asia have traditionally done. And most administrators, I'll give you an example. Last year I did a workshop for administrators in Mahidol University. And I showed them the same thing, this. And I said to them, think about your boss or the bosses that you've had. Let me hold that for a second and finish the fourth role, then I come back. Fourth role is one that not all administrators in schools recognize or accept or think about. But it's a role what we can call leader, or what I'll call instructional or academic leader. Okay. Here you have to have some vision. So for example, when I came to this school, the director had a vision, personalized, student-centered learning. Okay. He had a great vision, okay. but he couldn't manage. Didn't want to manage. Okay. You have to lead teaching and learning. He couldn't do that. Okay. And you have to develop the climate to a climate we talk about is the expectations. What do the students expect? Or what do you want to accomplish? Okay. If I'm the administrator, what are my expectations for the staff? What are my expectations for students? When I took the position in charge of the college, during that time, and Chat Chai in the back of the room was one of my students at that time, and he could tell you it's true. Every student and every faculty knew what I expected. Number one, quality, and quality for students. Because when I came to the college was run for the faculty, not the students. Not only in the classroom teacher-centered, but the management of the school, everything was for the comfort of faculty, not for the learning of the students. Think about the IT. The IT wasn't set up for the support for students and teachers. It was set up for the good life for the IT staff. But the whole college was like that. And the students came last. Nobody thought about it that way because that was quite normal. In Thailand, you know, in Vietnamese, you have an, em. Well, in Thai, you have pi, nong, pi, an, nong, em. And they have a word in Thai for student. The word this is kind of informal slang for student at any level. Even my doctoral students could use this term. It's nu. Nu means the nu is mouse. Mouse. The little mic. Yeah. But in Thai, just in Thai speaking, in the culture, the teacher will call it nu, calls the student nu, right? And that's how that gives you the idea. The students are very small. Even doctoral student will call themselves to me nu, right? But not only that, the teacher talking to their administrator could refer to themselves as nu, the mouse, because the administrator very big. Just like in the classroom, the students are the little mice and the teacher is very big. But the teacher to the administrator, nu mai yak pai, nu mai khoi song chai. This mouse not too interested, something like that. Okay, so this role was not has not been the traditional role for administrators at any level in most Asian societies. Last year, I did a workshop. I was starting to tell you before. I was doing a workshop for administrators from Mahidol University. And I asked the participants like you, I said, think about your boss and your bosses, your administrators in the past. Which one of, if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, I said, show me which role your administrators emphasize. Which role is their main role when you look at their behavior, what they do? And their answer was this: following the rules, making the system work. I say, what's about number 2? This one. Number 3, this one. This one, we don't see it very much, right? That means that their if they're the teacher and they're looking at their boss, who's the administrator, could be an associate dean, it could be a dean, it could be principal, assistant principal, department. They don't see this in their behavior. They see this, these two, and this as well. Okay? But if you want to get results for students, you have to put more emphasis on the leadership or instructional leadership, if you want to bring about change for the school.